The kickoff day of Wrestlecade Friday was a fun start to the day. First thing we get there, we're going to the Wrestlers panel, which is, if you don't know about this is the Netflix show, The Wrestler, that is mostly talking about Ohio Valley Wrestling. So this panel consists of Cash Flow, Amazing Maria, Maximo Suave, Jake Lawless, Holly Hood, Haley J, and Al Snow. So a good variety of people in there, and overall it was just a really fun Q&A. I thought they did a great job with it. And then we go to the women's wrestling panel, and this was supposed to be mostly about road stories. This panel consisted of Emily J, Lindsay Snow, Jasmine Hoy, and Leah Knight was running a little bit late, so she showed up just a few questions in. But a few of their events kind of overlapped, because partway through this is when the vendor room opened for the first time of the weekend. And so we didn't want to miss that, so we did have to cut this one a little short and leave 25 minutes early. But from what I did see, it was a pretty good Q&A. Here's the picture we took with Bull Nakano. It was great to meet her, and she also signed my encyclopedia, which I'll show you a little later in the video. We also decided to get a photo op with the original bro, Matt Riddle. Here's all of the signed major bendies that I've gotten so far in Friday's FanFest. First, I got Heath Slater, which actually, most of these bendies I already had, except this Jerry Lynn right here, which I got the chase from. It was $60. And so, yeah. And then I brought my Canuck, and he signed it for free, as he told me he would on Whatnot, so that's very cool. Got my Hornswoggle right there, and then Sabu. So all 5 of these are very cool, and I got 2 more that I'm going to get signed tomorrow, so that'll be very cool. Here's where I got one of the newest inductees into the Hall of Fame, Bull Nakano, to sign the encyclopedia. She did do the Hall of Fame inscription and all that, so this was very cool. Now it's time for the TNA show, but they had, I believe, 4 wrestlers over there. It was Nick Nemeth, Santana, Joe Hendry, and I believe that's it. I think it was just those 3 over there taking pictures, signing autographs, and all that. And so we did decide to do a picture with Joe Hendry. So then we got our seats for the TNA show. So, of course, they got to do their pre-show, and starting off with the pre-show, first coming out was Joe Hendry. They started off strong, with him kind of hyping up his match later in the show. So then for the actual pre-show match, first coming out was Savannah Evans. She was taking on Rosemary, and not only her, she was also taking on Xia Brookside. So overall, they had a pretty decent match. I gave it a C+, B-. My final rating, I gave it a B-. I thought it was pretty good. Sometimes pre-show matches just really aren't good, and this wasn't the case. It was pretty good. Then it was time to start TNA Turning Point. Starting off strong, Santana literally makes his entrance in the crowd, and he takes on Kazarian. And they put on a pretty good match, and I will say Santana is he's a lot better than I actually thought he was. Of course, I've seen his matches in AEW, I've seen some of his stuff in TNA, but really watching him live today, he's a lot better than I thought before going into the show. But I will say one thing, it was incredibly hard to rate every single one of these matches, and the reason being is because, with all due respect, there was these 2 grown men of I think 2 rows in front of me that decided that they were just going to stand up the entire time. I understand you're having a good time and all that, but all the people behind us, everybody around me was yelling, please sit down, so they'd sit down. Then what, about 10 seconds later, and it's not like they're standing up because the match gets exciting. It's oh wow, they did a German suplex, now we got to stand up. That's how it was, and it really did get annoying. It was just parts of the matches I could not see at all. Definitely in those later matches, I guess you'll find that out later, it was incredibly hard to come up with a rating, because I missed probably half the match on some of those. But with what I saw out of this match, I'm going to give it a B+. Now it's time for the Thanksgiving Turkey Bowl match. Coming out first was Brian Myers, followed up by Eric Young, and then you got John Schuyler, and then you got the big guy Hammerstone. But I actually think he got partially injured during this match. I'm not sure. He went to run towards the ropes, and he just had a big limp. He was moving very slow for the rest of the match. He wasn't even really a part of the match, if you ask me. He just was kind of just sitting around. So I am pretty sure he got injured. And then you got my guy Rhino, followed up by Joe Hendry. And I was so excited to see Joe Hendry live just because I've never watched him wrestle live. And with how fun it was in that crowd to yell, "I believe," and to wave your hands up in the air, it was really fun. And of course, this is a comedy type match. This isn't supposed to be this banger type match. But for what it was supposed to be, it was really good. I was entertained the entire time. I'm going to give it a B. Joe Hendry got the win, but he pinned Brian Myers. So the whole thing with this like turkey bowl, which I've actually never seen a turkey bowl match, is the loser has to put on a turkey costume. So then Brian Myers ran around in a turkey costume for the rest of the show. And then you had Laredo Kid coming out to the ring, followed up by Moose, and this was for the X Division Championship. I thought these two guys actually worked fairly well together, and I don't know if the guy that was standing up the whole time just wasn't a fan of this match or something, but I actually got to see most of this match because he wasn't standing up during this. And so I actually really enjoyed this match. I thought they did a good job. I'm going to give it a B. And then it was time for Josh Alexander to come out to the ring. And I'm a big fan of Josh Alexander. He's an amazing in-ring performer. And this is my first time ever watching him live in a serious gimmick. The last time TNA came to Wrestlecade, they had like that comedy show that they have or something. And I personally hated that. I thought it was a complete joke. So I'm glad that we actually got a real TNA show this time. And this is the part of the show where I start getting irritated with the guy that's standing up. Because I don't know about you, but I want to see this match. This Steve Macklin is who he's going against. And this match could have been amazing if I was able to watch it. But this guy was standing up the entire time. So I didn't get to see any of it. I don't even know how to give you guys a rating on this. I had my notes app open and I was given the ratings so I don't forget what I originally had. But I didn't even put anything. Because what am I supposed to say? I can't say it was good. I mean, I have a strong feeling that it could have been an absolute banger. The crowd seemed to be excited. I mean, I know I wasn't because I couldn't see. But yeah, I'm definitely going to want to go watch the replay on this match. And then it was time for the big tag match. So one half of ABC came out Ace Austin, followed up by who everybody wanted to see, the Hardy Boys, Jeff and Matt Hardy. The crowd was electric for this. And then coming out to the ring was Kushida, and then came Zachary Wentz. And so then they kind of had to decide who their partner was going to be because Trey Miguel could not make the show. And it's the King of Bros. It's Matt Riddle. That was a big surprise, and I was excited to see Matt Riddle come out. Even though I've never been like this huge Matt Riddle fan, I still think it's cool. And this is unfortunately another one of those matches I didn't get to see much of. So I'm just not going to give you a rating. From what I saw, the crowd was hyped up. Jeff Hardy was having fun out there. It ended up with a swanton bomb to get the win, and it got the crowd happy. That's all I can say. And then came out Jordan Grace. I was so excited. And then it was Masha Slamovich, and I'm just a fan of both of these two amazing women's performers. I mean, they're just amazing. And so I was telling you how mad I was getting with Josh Alexander about the part. Like, it really irritated me during this. I was like, okay, I just got to calm down. I could watch the replay and all that. But yeah, it was very irritating. I can't give you a rating for this either. I do know that Masha Slamovich retained. It was 2 out of 3 falls. And so it actually lasted a nice amount of time. But yeah, from what I've seen, I mean, I saw their match that they've had before, and their chemistry together is just out of this world. They perform so good together. And so there is no doubt in my mind that this match was amazing. Oh yeah, I forgot to say, at the end, Rosemary came out. She was kind of just looking and everything, acting like she was about to attack, but she never did. And then it was main event time. Coming out was Dolph Ziggler. So the crowd's all happy to see him. And then you got one part of the system, Eddie Edwards, accompanied by Alicia Edwards. And, of course, everybody's booing her. And so, yeah, the crowd was really in for this one. This is another one of those. I didn't get to see the whole match. But from what I saw, it was cool. Alicia Edwards got kicked out. Kurt Hawkins came out. I just called him Kurt Hawkins. Brian Myers came out, still dressed like the turkey, tried to help. But then guess who shows up? JBL. JBL comes down and takes out Brian Myers, allowing for Nick Nemeth to retain. So yeah, from what I saw, it was very fun and it was a pretty good match. Here's my poster that I bring to every single event. And so far I've gotten Brad Attitude, Kanik, John Schuyler and La Rosa Negra. So, it looks cool with the 4 paint pen autographs. The posters, some I've always done since I've been really little, so just going to kind of keep it going. So, yeah, it was a great first day of Wrestlecade. I got a lot of my major bendies out of the way, so I don't have to worry about them Saturday, because we know Saturday's the big day. You got the Super Show. You got the full vendor room. Almost everybody is there on Saturday. So, yeah, there's just a lot happening on Saturday. But overall, today was really fun. I'm so happy that I got a bunch of my major bendies signed. And, yeah, I'll see you guys on tomorrow's video.